Hello and welcome to one more episode. Well, I changed some items. Our appearance remains the same because I want to be always using the illusion for the way it's called a set. 1 second. And we're back. Well, why do we have the Annals of Arkovia, a little part of it, open here? Because I want to read it, since it's lore, about the part we are going to be playing on this episode, playing today. It falls upon strange times that a king would abdicate the throne of his own volition. Stranger still is the reason he gave his court. There is no other way to put it. King Rohan, the third of his line, has been struck by madness. Upon returning from a successful campaign against the barbarian tribes of Agaron's Peak, the king raved about a chance meeting with a weary traveler whom he called Mogdrogan. Now, Mogdrogan, if you don't know about the Green Dawn lore, is one of the gods. It's the god of wild, the god that's also called Mogdrogan the Wolf. And actually, even as the identity of Mogdrogan the Wolf is how we find him in the devotion constellations. That's why I couldn't find him in a episode of my other series with the Pet Master. But point is, he's a deity. Going back to the reading. Rowan, in his generosity, offered the old man the use of his horse. The man, and here's where the king's tale loses all sense, declined the proposal and, speaking in a low voice that only his majesty could hear, instead offered Rowan a warning. The old man spurted prophetic lies about the impending collapse of our great nation and the fall of the beacon of the West, Arkovia herself, which it came to pass. So Mogdrogan had a prophecy and told the king. He implored the king to leave his title, his wealth, his very identity behind. There were some amongst the court who urged Rowan to see his madness through, greedy heads of Arkovian houses who saw this tragedy as an opportunity to seize power. The queen, the shining jewel of Arkovia, wept before her king and begged him to reconsider, but Rowan was resolute. With a single decree, he shattered the royal line and abandoned his ordained post as king of Arkovia. This is further declared in the devotion lore, since there we find the empty throne constellation, the Rowan crown and royal scepter that were lost upon his abdication and were found only in the skies. Word of the king's madness spread quickly among the populace. To my great surprise, some of his subjects followed Rome's lead, abandoned their livelihoods to follow their despondent ruler into a life of poverty and lost identity. And here is where the Rover faction started. If you click on the faction screen to read about them, you are going to see that they call themselves Rowari. It has been 3 fortnights since that fateful day. The queen lies dead in her chambers. They say she died of sorrow from the loss of her king, but I suspect more clandestine causes. Like, who knows, maybe poisoning by the oligarchs that were greedy for the power in Arkovia. The court has fallen into chaos as the great houses bicker amongst themselves for the empty throne. No end in sight to squabbles and no clear line to the throne, my patron, Laudus Vagra, has called for the formation of an oligarchy, ruled by the heads of Arkovia's elite. And here's the reason why we are reading this. We are going to be meeting this guy, Laudus Vagra, down in Twin Falls. Let us finish. No good can come of this, of that I am certain. These days I cannot help but wonder if Rowan's prophecy was a self-fulfilling one, or perhaps the storm was a long time coming, and we were merely too blind to see it. I fear for Arkovia. I fear for her soul. Theodicus Vagra, scribe of Arkovia. Now, this guy that I always joke with his name and say that his name is Laudus Viagra, Laudus Blue Pill, he is then one of the oligarchs that seized control in Old Arkovia once the king abdicated from his throne. we are going to be exploring a little bit more than with our other in our other playthrough, because this is a playthrough more explore and lore, as you guys can see. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. And even if you're not new to the channel, to all of you who are watching me, I hope you are all having a great day today, and I hope everything is fine with your family, with you, everyone. It's just a day to be happy. It's just a day to be wholesome and hoping. So, as we go forth. Oh, and here's the nice thing. If you look from here, the minimap shows the camp right there. Like there, like here are the rover protectors, the guys from Quaid's campsite, the rovers that fight back or attempt to fight back. Because one of the things that like tell that rovers are the fact that they are a very peaceful kind, and Quaid kind of goes against this tradition. He's trying to fight back. That's how some of his people lost their eyes or other limbs, for example. The rovers are a clearly reference to the Quakers, a little bit of North American story, and kind of gospel story also. Right here, you're going to be finding two NPCs. One of them that's going to give you a mission. They are Calderos and Balvaruk. Both of them are really important if you like to explore the game and go see every possible dungeon that the game can offer you. And I'm going to explain you why. Let me just interact with this ancient letter and get the forgotten passage, and now we have the side quest to collect 3 forgotten passages and build a little bit more of lore, which we are going to be reading once it's done. So, why Caldros is so important? Because Caldros is the ghost that is going to give you the quest line to slay Grand Priest Tuslan in Steps of Torment, a place where we know from the last episode that the necromancers were all condemned to be imprisoned and tortured. And once we do that, he's going to give us the blueprint for the skeleton key. And the skeleton key is what allows you on Green Dawn to access dungeons where once you are inside you cannot open Rift Gates. It's a dungeon that you'll get in there, and they usually have 3 phases, and you have to go through all 3 without ever going back. So this necromancer is telling us that he's here to purge the land of evil spirits, and that once we finish, Caldros, his friend, this spirit, is going to lead us to Steps of Torment to do everything I have already told you guys about. And the Old Scars, the quest that Balvaruk gave us, is to slay Nomus Dread, Laudus Vagra, and Ravenna Cur. And these people are the Oligarchs of Arkovia, as you found out from us reading the passages from the Annals of Arkovia, right there, which I saved to the start of this episode instead of reading on our last episode, because I wanted to give this sense of continuity, you know. Maybe you guys are not, maybe you, who's watching me right now, is not watching me when the episodes come out. Maybe you are one of those people who like to have the full content to watch all at once, and that retaliation thing almost killed me. I was kind of quick enough though with my left hand, because actually my left hand is not even on the keyboard right now. I just like to stand with my left hand on the chair when I'm talking to you guys, and this build in particular allows me to be doing that, since we almost don't use skills for now. Here, there's the Sacred Shrine. We are going to be cleansing it, which is no problem at all. we got 3 more devotion points. Let's go back to Otus constellation, where we are now getting the Hand of Otus and also 180 health and 15% chaos resistance. The words just kind of disappeared for a little bit there. Now the next thing we want to get is the Blind Sage constellation, because if you go look here, right here, 100% cold damage and 200% frostburn damage, 100% lightning damage and 200% electrocute damage, 80% elemental damage, which joins both of those, and some physics spirit, and just to finish there. So the Blind Sage is also going to be helping us ramp damage with this build. The constellation requirement is 10 from Ascendant and 18 from Primordial. Oh, sorry, Eldritch. Primordial is blue. We already have 10 from Eldritch, but we don't have any Ascendant yet. We need 10 and 18. We are going to be starting on Ascendant, and once you have 10 there, we go back to Eldritch and finish it. So when you don't know the direction of one of these colors, you can go back to the crossroads. The crossroads mark the changing of ways, the opening of endless possibilities, and you can look for it. So here is the green one, the Eldritch one, here's the Chaos one, and here was the Primordial one. Right here is the Balance one, Order, the Order one, and here is the one we are looking for. So we're going to click there, and we are going to look for something that fits us right here. So for example, the Owl is going to give us Frostburn and Electrocute damage, and once it's complete, it's going to give us 5 points for Ascendant. So the Owl is an interesting one for us to complete. However, we don't have any more devotion points just of yet. Let's keep doing our path towards the entrance of this kind of dungeon, because we are going to be taking the next spot as a dungeon. With my other build, with the Pathmaster build, if you watch that, I basically just ran through this place. I didn't stay to fight every possible boss that is down here. This time we're going to do it. This time we're going to go each level of this place. So I hope you guys are ready, and let's electrocute all the contents in the Arkovian Undercity. Just give me 1 second. Very well, let's proceed. So here is a crumbling wall that you can cut to go through that path. You can also follow this path right here. I think we are going to be backtracking and clearing everything, hopefully. I mean, if anyone wants to raise from the ground, raise from the dead and attack us. Otherwise, I'm not that picky. I can just cut some standing phantoms. The thing with the Primal Strike, if I didn't mention that yet for you guys, is that usually you want to attack with the Primal Strike your target, the thing that you want to kill most, because the cascade, the torrent that's going to be flying from your weapon to the other stuff is usually deals less damage than your main attack. So if you really want something dead, you should be attacking that thing, usually. Here there's a bunch of people for us to make the screen go beautifully, painted in blue and white, because lightnings are awesome, stormy nights are awesome, cloudy days are awesome. Everything that has to do with a storm is awesome. Oh, there's a guy here. Okay. Since we have so much energy and so much energy regeneration, we have no problem at all using this as our main sources of damage, especially because we also have the specialization that reduces the energy cost in 75%, which I highly recommend, especially on the beginning of the game. As we progress, I think if we felt the need to do even more damage, we could remove this upgrade and then do even more damage, but at the cost of more energy. But I don't feel like we need. Like, I feel like our damage is just already too good. If you were not with us on our other episodes, we have basically been two-shotting every boss, even important bosses. Like Darius Crowley was completely anticlimactic, and well, this is one of the joys of playing in this smash and grab mode and getting the full potential of your build as quickly as possible. Now let's read about the last days of Arkovia. As I write this, dark columns of smoke billow up from the port where the madness long pullulating, never saw this word before, in the rusty populace has finally boiled over. A blazing merchant galley, abandoned by its crew and freed of its mooring plows into a group of fishing boats, wood splintering and the fire quickly spreading among the sails. I hear shouting in the courtyard below, and the clash of iron not far beyond. A woman screams repeatedly, her words indiscernible. For so long we feared our doom would come from the barbarous mountain tribes, but in the end we've been the instruments of our own demise, helped along by the insidious promises of the necromancers. It is not yet 2 moons since the great rituals were undertaken, led by our ever-reaching oligarchs, the rituals intended to bring immortality and ensure the last greatness of Arkovia. Ever the skeptic, I figure it for a sham, political theater at best, but the ritual seems to have been a tragic success. This ritual was the invention of a necromancer named Urubaruk, a named imprisoned in the steppes of torment, who it is said did not age and could not be killed by any means. The leaders of the 3 greatest houses, including my own patron Laudus Vagra, made an ill-conceived journey to the tower in hopes of compelling this Urubaruk to give up his secrets. Here, immortality worked against Urubaruk, as he was subject to the most brutal and imagined forms of torture that could be devised for a man who could not die. Which is the point where I remember the scene from Altered Carbon, a great series if you never watched. Finally, Urubaruk agreed to instruct them in the ritual, and the oligarchs, blinded by their lust for immortality, were all too eager to believe his will broken and accepted the ritual as genuine. It has become clear that the people of Arkovia have indeed gained a form of immortality, but it is a cruel and twisted fulfillment of that promise. Our bodies still suffer the ravages of time, eventually dying and decaying, whilst our spirits remain trapped within, eternally bound to this land. I have witnessed this myself, as the sick and elderly, near death at the time of the ritual, remain with us yet, their bodies visibly decay in a manner of a corpse, yet they continue on as though living, able to move and talk, still much the same persons as they were in life, yet not. All who suffer this death of the body become somehow less vital, less dynamic of thought. They become ever more narrowly focused on whatever concerns them most in life. It is disturbing to witness families that do not know what to do with their deceased, yet present, loved ones. More horrible still are the rumors of babies born since the ritual, abominations they say, deformed and bearing dark grisly feathers. It is said that many forlorn new fathers have been seen trekking into the broken hills, bundle in arm, to leave their unnatural offspring to the elements. The din of fighting and wailing continues on below. I expect it shall for quite some time, since the combatants cannot die by any mortal means. I will sit with my books and continue my writing for whatever time may remain, perhaps all eternity. And so, you guys can see, well, can imagine from the reading how the curse of Urubaruk deeply affected everyone. And now you can also kind of imagine that all these guys that are here prepared to fight, they were not only waiting for us, they were also fighting between themselves. Behind me there's a skeleton gargantuan that just died. Yeah, that's all I can say about it. We one-shotted the guy, as we often do with everything we touch, because we have the touch of lightning. I got the power! And here's Nomo's Dread, 3-shotted, one of the Oligarchs from the side quest Old Scars. Pleasure to meet you, sir. Let's just top off our health with Word of Renew. And oh, we never spent these points, right? Because honestly, well, let's start working then to get the Storm Color spec. What do you guys think about it? Oh, the Storm Totem. We can get the Storm Totem when we get to level 32. I've never used the Storm Totem, I'm going to be honest with you guys, but I've seen my brother using it, and it looks pretty cool. Like my actual brother, not Ultane's brother of Ultana in my fake lore. No, he actually plays with a shaman. He has a druid, which is the combination you get when you join shaman and arcanist. He plays with a spellbinder with me. By the way, this is the way to leave the Arkovian Undercity if you just want to leave. If you don't want to do this whole place as a dungeon, you would get off there. Anyway, spellbinder, if you guys don't know the proper naming, is what you get when you mix a necromancer and a arcanist. Because you know, I'm just crazy about necromancers. I love the necromancer class. In my opinion, is the best class in the game. Because you can do mostly anything with it. Do you want to go for a dots build? They have poison. Do you want to go for a pet build? They got pets. A bunch of them. Do you want to go for, I don't know, whatever you imagine you can do with necromancers, basically. Do you want to go for a vitality build? You get that vitality build with necromancers. By the way, I've never done a vitality build. Well, I kind of did one with my witch hunter. Witch hunter is occultist plus nightblade. I named him Count Nosferatu because the whole idea with his build is to be kind of a vampire. So we use the Nightblade skill that you jump into people, kind of like a shampoo from Katarina of League of Legends, if you have ever played the game or if you know how Katarina plays. Well, we have that kind of that skill in Grim Dawn, and it's on the Nightblade class. So that skill, it's kind of like the vampire jumping to bite the throat in the fake lore. Every one of my Nightblade builds use that skill because it's just my favorite skill in the Nightblade's arsenal. Let's just top off our health with a Tonic of Mending, clear those guys, and in the distance in the minimap we can already see a star, we can already see a path leading deeper in this place. I think we can find our next guys on the next level, Laudos Vagra and Ravenna Kerr, but they might also be on the third level. No problem with us, because we are here to see it through. We are here to clear out this dungeon. If you hadn't completed your quest of the Forgotten Passage yet, you could be clicking on these ancient lanterns on the way. If you have, nothing is going to happen when you click on them. Isn't that magical? We have some boys here shooting things at us. And yeah, I basically explore everything here, so it's time to go to our next level. The only spots that are possibly dark on this place are so far behind and on the beginning that I'm not going to be backtracking to them. So we are on the second level of Arkovian Undercity. Let's see what this place has to offer. Okay, this was a skeleton monstrosity. It didn't die on one attack, it died on two. That's a improvement. It's clearly an improvement. We were really slowed back there, and you guys might know by now that I hate when I'm slowed by anything. If I remember correctly, the right side here has less thing to explore, so I'm going to be exploring the right side first and then backtracking, because the place you have to go is actually on the left side, if I remember correctly. If I don't, yet we already have returned to the same spot where we started. So now we're going to do the path to the right and down. And doing this, I think we already find our own way towards the left side, if I'm not mistaken. I wonder myself, like, who buries these guys? Because we read that they were eternally fighting themselves, so that means... Oh, here's Laudus Vabra, another of our targets. So I think JazzG.EmptynessKoe is also on this level, now that I think about it. Let's throw a yellow items, because I don't like yellow items. Actually, they might be really good, but I don't even look at an item if it's not a green or blue item. I know this might annoy some people, but I'm sorry. It's just how I play it. If you stop to see each yellow item, you're going to be taking way too long. And most of them are not better than the green or blue ones that you are already using. But for sure there are some green items really interesting. Like for example, one of my not only static but for function favorite items is a purifier hammer that is just light hammer, but this hammer is a green item. But I just really like it because I got it after defeating a boss, and it was really cool to see that just like we got the light hammer that the boss was using. I was like, that feels so good. This is actually looting a boss. I know we haven't put our points yet since we got level 29. I also didn't check. And in the case, I won't check if we can change items, because I don't want to stop everything and go back to the illusionist if I feel like I need an item, but it doesn't look well with our current iteration of items. But speaking of skills, we can go here and are we going to get the Storm Totem? Well, it does lightning damage, and it scales with player damage bonuses. So I mean, why not? Let's see what it does. Corrupted Storm. It turns the lightning damage into vitality damage. We will not be interested in that. Sometimes you're going to be seeing these options where you turn something's damage into another kind of damage. I'd argue not to just see an upgrade like that and change it. You should be looking for which type of damage helps you more. If I remember, there are some bosses in this room. This room can be a little bit challenging, so I'm going to leave my rift here in case I fail. And JazzG.EmptynessKoe is already here. I was right about the thing that they were together in the same level. So I'm going to be walking here, drop my totem and rush to JazzG.EmptynessKoe that was actually trying to escape me, and she's done and gone. But if you're playing with two people, which makes the difficulty go higher, or if you're playing on main mode, which means you have less skill points on your skills, she might be a little bit challenging, trust me. So here we defeated her. I'm just looking if there isn't anything else important. And yes, I believe there's another boss crossing these bridges. But so far, no boss has been matched to our Thunderous powers. So we push forward, unafraid. I'm not afraid, I'm not afraid. Some of you may have missed me singing. I'm singing a lot less today. That doesn't mean I'm less happy or anything. It just doesn't mean I'm singing less. If you did, well, I just sang again. If you didn't and you were like, thank fuck he's not singing, I'm sorry. But well, that's just how I roll. I like to be singing and making reference all the time, and I have no idea what dealt so much damage to me, but okay. We have enough health to spare. We have enough health to not despair. And here there's a Porticulis, so I'm going to leave my personal rift behind and cross it. Because there's a boss here and there's a shrine altar there. And the boss is already... yeah, it's a mini boss. Kyrian the Tainted Soul. Whoa, Kyrian hits hard. Also, we were standing in his pool. Like, I did it again. Sometimes when I'm fighting a boss, I always forget to get away from their stuff. Well, that was a boss. That guy is usually really challenging, but if you are making a build that's focused on damage, you can take him down pretty quickly actually. Like when our Arcanist, my brother and I got here with our Arcanist, we defeated this guy so much easier than when we were with my Demolitionist and his Occultist, which were builds that, okay, they had damage, but they were a little bit more defensive compared to the Arcanist. Our Arcanist just... those guys are not okay. They just deal way too much damage. And look, maybe we can change our armor after so long. This boat is one of my favorite boats because we get the stomp from it, and the stomp from it is amazing, at least for me. However, we are already in level 29, I believe, and on level 30 we are going to be dressing our full set, the wide color set. I have one more point that I have not been spending. Here's a ruin chain. We are going to repair it, and once it's repaired, we have even more points for our devotion. So we were working on, well, we wanted to work on the owl. We now can work on the owl. And once we complete it, we are going to receive 5 bonus points on Ascendant, and then we only have to get 4 more, and the requisite that we needed to complete to start the Blind Sage will have been met. And we are on the 3rd and last level of the Arkovian Undercity. I don't quite remember if there's a boss here, because usually the hard part... oh, no, we are back on the first one. Yeah, we're back on the first one. Now we just have to find the way out of here. This one. We just have to get here. So since you guys already seen this content, I'm going to just be cutting and putting us when we step out of here. Okay? Okay. And here we are outside the Arkovian foothills. Here there's a ghost who is give us the quest to put her daughter to rest, and her daughter is a harpy, because her daughter, now that we know her, we know that her daughter is a harpy because she was born after Urubaruk's treacherous ritual has been taken to its end. 1 second. This episode is on the 34-minute mark, which means we are going to be finishing right here. I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and until our next chapter.